In the eternal darkness of the Virgo constellation, there is something that should not exist. Scientists call it the Barbie doll of the universe. But beneath that mesmerizing pink exterior lies a nightmare with temperatures exceeding 200 degrees Celsius. It is 4 times the size of Jupiter. It burns at temperatures that would melt all forms of life. And, most importantly, according to every mathematical model humanity has ever built, it should never have been born. This is the story of GJ504B, a terrifying mystery in the endless void of space.
In 2013, the Subaru telescope in Hawaii revealed a shocking truth. For the first time in history, humans directly photographed a planet outside the solar system. Not an indirect inference, but an actual image. This planet lies about 57 light-years from Earth in the constellation Virgo, orbiting the star GJ504. This star is a yellow dwarf similar to the Sun, but younger and more powerful, with a surface temperature of about 5,900 degrees Celsius and a mass 1.16 times that of the Sun. Everything seemed normal, and it is precisely that normalcy that highlights the horrifying anomaly of what orbits it. Instead of using brightness dip measurements, scientists use the high COW instrument to block out the star's blinding light, and for the first time saw GJ504B directly. Despite its massive size, 4 times that of Jupiter, the most terrifying thing about GJ504b is its eerie pink-purple color. Unlike other gas giants that merely reflect light from their host star, GJ504b glows from within. This is because it is still very young, only 160 million years old, and retains enormous heat from its formation. Its atmosphere is filled with methane and hot dust, absorbing most blue light and re-emitting it in reddish-pink wavelengths, turning the entire planet into a glowing ember in the pitch-black void. But the greatest paradox lies here. While other gas giants burn at thousands of degrees Celsius and are shrouded in thick clouds, GJ504b is unusually cool, with a surface temperature of around 240 degrees Celsius, far lower than theoretical models predict. Because of this strangely low temperature, the clouds in its atmosphere are less turbulent and more transparent. As a result, its pink facade becomes even more alluring and penetrative. It allows humans to witness its mesmerizing beauty from the outside, while perfectly concealing a true hell within. The pink here is absolutely not a sign of life or harmless beauty. It is the most perfect disguise the universe has ever created, both radiant and deadly, both captivating and dangerous. Most gas giants, like Jupiter or Saturn, reside at moderate distances where they can accumulate matter. but GJ504b lies in an empty region of its star system. It is so far from its host star that light takes more than 6 hours to reach it. Its existence in that position is like finding a magnificent castle in a desert with no bricks or stones to build it. This suggests it may have formed elsewhere and then been thrown to the outer edge of the system by an extremely powerful gravitational force. On Jupiter, we have the Great Red Spot, a storm that has lasted for hundreds of years. On GJ504b, scientists predict planet-scale storms. Because the planet is still contracting, releasing enormous internal heat, convection currents from its core to its surface are extremely powerful. Unlike Earth, where storms are driven by the sun, storms on GJ504b are thermal storms. Heat from deep within the planet pushes massive columns of hot gas upward, creating endless swirling vortexes. With a temperature of about 237 degrees Celsius and enormous atmospheric pressure, GJ504b's atmosphere is a natural chemical laboratory. In deeper cloud layers, compounds like silicates, the main component of rock, may condense into tiny dust particles or solid crystals. Abundant ammonia may produce highly toxic chemical rains. You cannot stand on this planet because it has no solid surface, but if you were floating in its atmosphere, you would see pale yellow or white ammonia clouds drifting over a vivid pink backdrop. The radiant pink hue and the transparent atmosphere of GJ504b are not merely eerie beauty, they are clues pointing to a terrifying paradox about its origin. According to all modern astronomical standards, this entity should not exist. It is directly challenging the core accretion theory, the standard model explaining how gas giants form. According to this theory, a giant must take millions of years of constant collisions between dust and rock to build a solid core in dense regions near the star. Only then gaining enough gravity to capture massive layers of surrounding gas. This entire process can only occur near the center of a star system. Yet, GJ504b lies 43.5 AU from its host star, over 6.5 billion kilometers farther than Neptune in our solar system. At such a distant and sparse region, forming a planet 4 times the mass of Jupiter is nearly impossible under current models. In other words, it exists precisely where our strongest theories predict it cannot form. The presence of GJ504b is forcing scientists to reconsider nearly all theories about planetary system formation. And the debate is far from over. Is it truly a planet or merely an imposter from the realm of stars? Everything depends on one key factor, the age of its host star. If the system is young, around 160 million years as initially estimated, then GJ504b is simply a gas giant, about 4 times the mass of Jupiter. but the universe has a habit of toying with scientists. Some studies of the star's rotation rate suggest the system could be as old as 4 billion years. This difference in age completely changes the nature of the problem. A normal planet could not maintain a temperature of 240 degrees Celsius for 4 billion years. It should have cooled long ago. To still shine as brightly as it does at such an old age, GJ504B would need an enormous mass, enough to push it into the boundary between a planet and a brown dwarf. At that point, its haunting pink-purple glow is no longer the symbol of a young, beautiful planet. It becomes the mark of a hybrid entity, too massive to be an ordinary planet, yet not massive enough to ignite nuclear fusion and become a true star. A failed star trapped between two worlds, belonging nowhere. In that case, its pink death has not truly occurred. It may be a failed brown dwarf, caught between planet and star, still dying, but not yet cooled. Time has turned GJ504B into the most vivid symbol of the fragility of all theories. Even death in the universe can be delayed by a beautiful pink mask. In 2025, the JWST clearly detected ammonia, NH3, in GJ504B. This sign suggests it is more likely a young gas giant rather than a brown dwarf. Even so, GJ504B remains deeply mysterious. The more closely scientists observe it, the more it seems not to fully align with existing models. And that is exactly what makes this pink planet one of the most perplexing worlds ever discovered. It stands there silently as a reminder that even with the most powerful eyes in history, we are still like children trying to name a universe that always lies beyond the reach of every theory.